So Cape Town has this massive goal, right, to become a real economic powerhouse in Africa. But there's this one huge, persistent problem that's standing in its way. And it's creating this incredibly high-stakes race for the city's future. Let's dive in and break down what's really at stake here.
And there it is, laid out plain and simple. The ambition isn't just about growth. It's about making it ridiculously easy for businesses to set up shop and, this is the key part, to hire people. It's a really bold mission, especially when you see the number they're truly up against.
But then, here's the reality check. Almost a third of the city's entire workforce is unemployed. This one number just completely changes the picture, doesn't it? It puts that big, ambitious goal into a much sharper perspective. This is the challenge that everything else has to solve. So you're probably wondering, how on earth does a city even begin to tackle a number that big? Well, they've put together what you could call a strategic toolkit, a multi-pronged attack that's designed to fight unemployment from a bunch of different angles all at once. Okay, so let's pop the hood on this toolkit. It really comes down to three main things. First, creating direct work opportunities to help people right now. Second, building up the skills people are going to need for the jobs of tomorrow. And third, clearing the way for the private sector to really grow and become the main engine for creating jobs. So let's look at the first part, the direct intervention. Through things like the expanded public works program, the city is actively creating 35,000 work opportunities every single year. This is all about immediate relief, getting people into the workforce today. But, short-term jobs aren't the whole picture. The city's also playing the long game. They're connecting hundreds of people with apprenticeships and learnerships. And the key thing here isn't just about a temp job, it's about helping people build a real career and making sure they're employable for the long haul. Now, the third tool in the kit is all about unleashing the private sector. The city's zeroing in on these specific high-potential areas like the Cape Town CBD, Belleville, and Claremont. The idea is to use city-owned land and beef up the infrastructure to make these spots totally irresistible for companies to move in, invest, and, of course, create a ton of new jobs. Because at the end of the day, the city knows it can't solve this problem alone. The real, sustainable jobs, they come from the private sector. So the next big question is, what is the city actually doing to fuel that engine? And this gives us a huge clue. The trade and hospitality sector, think hotels, restaurants, shops, it employs more people in Cape Town than any other industry. And the good news is, it's pretty much back to where it was before the pandemic. The tricky part? Its growth is tied directly to how much money people have to spend. And that's under some serious pressure right now. To help out, the city's getting really practical. I mean, they're helping small and even informal businesses get online. They're pushing to get more big events and conferences into the city to give that hospitality sector a jolt, and they're even providing free bus rides for registered job seekers, just to make it a little bit easier to get out there and find work. Okay, so you hear all that. Public works projects, skills training, business support, and you'd think that big unemployment number would be dropping like a stone. But it's not. And this brings us right to the heart of the unemployment paradox. The reality is, and this is in the city's own words, that unemployment remains stubbornly high. So even with this really comprehensive strategy and all these targeted things we just talked about, the problem just won't go away. It makes you ask the question, what is really going on here? And this is where it all starts to make a terrible kind of sense. We're not just looking at one crisis, we're actually looking at two. That general unemployment rate is high, for sure. But look at youth unemployment. It's more than double at a staggering 65.2%. That means more than 6 out of every 10 young people who want to work can't find a job. And as if that number wasn't shocking enough, the trend is actually going the wrong way. The problem isn't just bad, it is actively getting worse. For the city's young people, the economic reality has gotten even tougher, not better, even while other parts of the economy were recovering. So all of this really sets up the final conflict in this story. It's become a race against time. And the central question is, can the city's interventions possibly move fast enough to outrun the massive economic forces that are pushing back? Think of it like a giant tug-of-war. On one side, you've got all the city's positive moves, the public works, the business support, the free bus rides. But on the other side, you've got these huge national and global headwinds fighting against them. Things like high inflation, constant power cuts, and an economy that's just not growing. And let's get specific about those headwinds, because they're serious. First, you've got high inflation, which was almost 7% in 2022, just eating away at people's spending power. Then there's load shedding, these scheduled national power cuts that can shut a small business down for hours a day. It's crippling. Add to that a national economy that's basically stuck in neutral, and you have the perfect storm working against creating new jobs.
So that's the bottom line. Cape Town has a clear, ambitious plan. It's pulling all the right levers to create jobs. But it is fighting against these powerful economic forces that are pushing hard in the opposite direction, especially for its youngest citizens. And it leaves us with this one crucial, unanswered question. Can a city's local strategy, no matter how smart it is, actually win this race against a powerful national economic tide?